Mhm. All right. Looks like we are good to go. Let's see here. Let me turn my external speaker off here. Okay, great. All right. Well, it's great to meet you, Brady. Appreciate you hopping on here, and look forward to learning a little bit about your job search and what you're looking for. So, yeah. So first of all, tell me a little bit about your situation.
Okay, so currently a junior at Oklahoma State. I'm pursuing a degree in economics. So almost to the time of, finding a job.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. So I saw from your resume that your estimated graduation is next year, basically next May, right?
Yep, next May. I got 3 semesters left.
Cool. Very good. Well, how is school going?
It's going good. I'm taking 19 credits a semester, so it's kind of a
Okay.
lot, but powering through.
Kind of a lot for sure. Okay. Great. Well, what is your so I was looking at your resume. So it looks like you have a good amount of experience kind of in the sales side.
Yeah, it's definitely where I'm hoping to get into.
Okay. Yeah, good. Well, that's my whole career, so I
Awesome.
guess I guess I'm pretty much the right person to be talking to you for sure. So let's talk about that really quick here. So first of all, congrats on the GPA. That is pretty nice for sure.
Thank you.
Now, Fort Collins, so this is where you are based out of.
Yep, that's hometown.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, cool. All right, very good. So what is this here? So right now, are you kind of on a hiatus due to school?
Yeah, currently, so right now I'm recruiting guys, as that says, to go to California this summer to do a little,
Okay.
we call it a blitz, pretty much just a summer of selling,
Yeah.
selling solar, as that says. So yeah, just, after school, getting on Zoom calls and recruiting guys to
Oh,
sell
okay.
solar this summer.
Okay, cool. So you actually are working right now in that way.
Part-time, correct? Yeah.
Yep. Okay, good, good. Are they paying you for that?
Yeah, they're paying me. Yep.
Okay, good. Very cool. Good. All right. So let's see here. Seems to me now is this going to be kind of door to door?
Yep. So a lot of that is door to door. Kids are free to get leads however they'd like, but the majority of it is door to door.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, very cool. So I think from a job search standpoint, let me ask you this. Are you kind of thinking about sticking with these guys or what are you thinking?
So I like solar short term. There's good money in it, especially for young kids. A lot of young kids can't sell certain products, just because of their age. Long term, I don't want to go with solar. I see myself more in a different avenue of sales, but short term, solar's been great.
Yep. Okay. Very cool. Well, so my career has all been in the tech sales area.
Okay.
So I've been in software sales and hardware sales around tech
Okay.
for over 25 years. So I can definitely give you some thoughts and ideas when you get to that point. But that being said, I mean, this is good. This experience is good. That's, door to door, it requires guts and
Yeah.
persistence. So yeah, I think that's actually really positive. Okay. Well, this helps me a lot because I wasn't sure if you were still in school or what the story was there. So that's good to know. So my daughter goes to, well, my oldest daughter graduated from OU.
Oh,
I,
okay.
yeah, sorry about that. My youngest daughter is there right now, and
Okay.
what I told my oldest daughter, and this is something that you've heard before as well, but it's really important to kind of build some experience during school. So she was part of the Gaylord School of PR, which you might be familiar with, is
Yep.
kind of one of their focus areas at OU. And then my youngest daughter, she's going to be hopefully pre-nursing kind of situation.
Okay.
But anyway, I think first of all, this is pretty good experience overall. Like I think this does help us quite a bit. So I'm really not worried about you exiting with no experience. I think that it's not going to be that hard to find a job. Now you might have to, it depends on kind of where we go. If you go, people do to some extent, there's a little bit of niche that you develop. So right now, people, you would be very logical for a solar job, obviously, right?
Yep.
But it doesn't mean it has to totally niche you out because the good thing about sales is a lot of those skills are transferable. And to somebody like me, and I've hired a lot of people in my career, this would show me sort of the hustle, right?
Okay.
So that's really, really good for sure. One thing I wanted to share with you really quick regarding your LinkedIn, there's a few things that we can do really, really quickly to kind of dress it up. So first of all, I saw you change your picture, so that was good from the other day. So you've already done that, so that's great. A couple things though, just kind of like top to bottom on your LinkedIn. So I do like the picture a lot. I think it's great. So I don't know that I would change much about that. Um, you know, perfect world, maybe not a white shirt on a white background, but it's not that bad because it is a nice picture. So that's good.
Okay.
Got your name and all that. You want to probably have your location at some point. When you're actually looking for a job, right now this is kind of like more preparatory what you're doing right now, obviously. But what I tell, and for anybody else who watches this, LinkedIn has recruiter tools. So people who recruit for different jobs, sales or otherwise, use tools called LinkedIn Recruiter, and there's different editions of that.
Okay.
And one of the things that they do is they look for a location. So right here, this is not going to show up in any search results for the LinkedIn recruiting tools unless it's just maybe purely remote jobs, right? Because they don't know where you are. So if they're looking for Denver or Dallas or wherever, you're not going to show up for that because it only says United States. So you want to make sure to have that. Also, this is a kudos for you because a lot of people do not list their email addresses, and you want people to be able to get a hold of you. So that's really really good. So location's good. Also, you don't have a title right now. So if you go look at right now, go look at mine.
Okay.
Okay. See how I've got a title right here, and yours is blank, right?
Okay.
So what does that mean, right? Well, here's the thing. It's easy for your title to be cheesy. Okay. Right now, blank isn't good, right? But it's
Okay.
easy to fix. But then I also see people who kind of waste that space. So happy to you can email me after this, and I'm happy to look at your ideas and give you my thoughts. But some kind of a title, for example, aspiring sales professional, graduating, May 2025. I mean that's I don't know. That's top of my head. I'm not even sure that's good, but that's an idea.
Okay.
So anyway, have a title. Everything else is good up here for sure. Also, in terms of posting, one thing that you can do to really make yourself marketable is posting.
Okay.
So so what you can do here is you can post, and I say that there's really five different types of things that you can post. Okay, so by the way, I have a whole video on this called the LinkedIn Job Attraction Formula. So if you go over to the Job Seeker Pro page here, there's a lot of videos that you can go check out. And one of them is the LinkedIn Job Attraction Formula. You can go find it. Um, but anyway, check that out for a little bit more detail about this. But let me give you some of the posts that you can do because what posts do is posts really attract people that you want to attract, and it kind of like builds your network, number one. But number two, it lets people know a little bit about you and it
Okay.
makes you attractive. So here's five ideas. So first of all, when you are more officially a job seeker than right now, you can start posting about job seeker advice. Okay, so job seeker tips, what you're experiencing day to day, what worked during your job search, that kind of thing is really helpful. So that's one idea. Number two, you can post different inspirational things that you're seeing on LinkedIn or anywhere around the web, just reposting someone else's content, right? So
Okay.
it still becomes part of your feed, and also they associate you with that inspirational, that positive post. Never post politics, never post religion, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But inspirational stuff is really really good. So that's another one. Another one is just very short posts that are your thoughts about something positive or inspirational. Um, And then another one would be advice for people. Okay. So from your sales experience. So here's what I'm encountering in sales. I'm seeing this trend. This is really working for me. So advice within your type of job that you want, your job category, right? And it's okay that you're earlier in your career right now, because right now what we're interested in is what you're learning. That's really interesting, because it may, even though I have a lot of sales experience, you're going to remind me of something that I may not have thought of for a while. And so as a sales leader, I will see you and I'll say, "Oh yeah, that's great. He's learning. That is a really good point he made." So posting within your area or your domain of expertise sort of like puts a little bit of a puts a little bit of a an image
Okay.
uh, out there about what you're all about. Okay. And then another one is just really short picture type posts or videos, that type of thing. Those can be really attractive as well. I have a training where I go into these in a little bit more detail. It's free. You can go check it out at jobseeker.pro/fast. So
Yeah.
feel free to check that out. It's about an hour and a half training. And yeah, so you can learn more about that there. But anyway, posting. So I know you don't have any posts. That's why I brought that up right there. And I tell my oldest daughter the same thing. She works for the Spurs now, and I'm like, listen, you need to build your awareness of your network on LinkedIn by posting interesting experiences from work. And I told her the same thing in school. So anyway, posting is really good. So even if you said, so right now you're recruiting, right? By the way,
Yep.
recruiting is kind of a type of selling, and it might even be something where if you like that enough, that could be a field for you. So that's just another idea here. I think, as far as the experience here on LinkedIn, one thing that I want to see, actually, there's two big things I want to see here on your LinkedIn profile as well as resume. And I'm recording this, although it's on YouTube, so you'll see it there as well.
Yeah.
But two things I want to see here is kind of some bullet points about what your role was, what you did, and
Yeah.
then also hopefully some examples of stories of where you made an impact. And let me show you mine as an example here. Mine isn't the end all be all, but I have had a lot of time to put into it. So just give you some ideas here. So here is mine. So if you look at, I'm going to go see more here. And here I have, you actually have to use your mobile phone to use cool check marks and stuff like this. By the way, it doesn't just default. Those are not available in LinkedIn. Um,
Okay.
but here I'm kind of laying out kind of what I did, some different metrics, some specific numbers of things like that, right? Some stories, some deals I closed, and stuff like that. So anyway, you can use mine for inspiration if it helps you a little bit. But I would like to see a little bit more specifics under the roles,
Sounds
and
good.
also, yeah, and then use numbers as much as you can. Use percentages whenever you can, because I think if you just skim this right now, I think you'll probably agree with me that numbers are kind of catching your eye, right? Specifics, like those are
Yeah.
kind of you're a little bit, yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, nothing's perfect, but that's a really, so for both of your profiles, I think those would be really good. Another thing that you can do, I think these are all good. Add more skills though,
Okay.
like uh, like because people can endorse you pretty easily, and so it's funny. Oh, I guess I just endorsed you. Okay. Oh, I see. So skills, client relations, social media. Gotcha. Okay, that's how that works. Great. But yeah, add more skills like sales. Actually, you do have sales. Good. But I'll endorse that too. So those are good to add. Also, you can have people write you a recommendation, and that would be a
Okay.
really, really good idea. Yeah, so I'm going to go to my profile to illustrate that. Change it from time to time, so I'll have to relearn it here live. There you go. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the plus sign here to add a
Yeah.
recommendation, and you're going to, in your case, I didn't see this module, so you may have to go add it.
Okay.
Yeah. So you may have to go to let me go to my profile, and then there's a way to add, yeah, add profile section. So just click that and it'll pull up recommendations and other things, which will, make it look more complete. But anyway, back down to where that was with recommendations. In my case, it's at the bottom. And I'm going to just click plus, and then I'm going to ask for recommendation. And then it might be someone like your solar sales manager, right? Or
Right.
a peer or a professor or a whatever, somebody in your work group for a project at school, that kind of thing. And it's just, if I pull up one right now, I'll pull up Fernando. here. So if I go continue, I pull up a name that I know, select a relationship, position, and then, just something. You can either, I could leave this if I want to, and then click send, right? So you could see
Yep.
that was like 30, like 20 seconds to do that.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
if you go ask like 10 people, probably you're going to get at least two or three recommendations. So that would be nice. So I think, you have a good foundation here on LinkedIn, but also like literally in an hour, you could do even more.
Okay.
So that would be nice because I know you're pretty busy. 19 hours at school right now is a lot, plus doing some part-time work in the evenings, which I really respect that hustle. And by the way, that's part of your story too. It's like, no, I'm doing 19 hours and I'm working in sales at night to build up my skill set and to make some extra money as well. And so I
Definitely.
think that's really impressive for sure. So thoughts or questions so far?
Yeah, so I'm taking a course this summer. Oklahoma State offers it, and one of like the big objectives is to kind of revamp the LinkedIn and get you ready for senior year.
Oh, great. Really? Okay. So OSU actually has kind of a LinkedIn course or something like that.
Yeah, I just got done with the resume course, and LinkedIn will be this summer.
That's so great. Proud of them for doing that. That's really,
Yeah,
really good. Very cool. Cool. So anyway, I think that'll help you a lot. You can do this in the meantime without even a course because those are just like really quick things that you can
yeah,
do. Um, okay, cool. So back to full screen here. So what are some questions you have about, the job search or about sales, since that's kind of my domain? Anything you got?
yeah. So obviously, sales most of the time, the more you sell, the more you make. I kind of want to just get started in the right avenue of sales, so I don't, I kind of hit the ground running rather than waste time, funneling through three or four different sales avenues
Yep.
and losing time.
Yep.
So kind of just like what industries do you think are like your top three for sales, and where would
Yeah.
you start if you were 21 years old today?
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So, I mean, software is definitely a great area, right?
Okay.
And I know you guys have, software and also related services. So, in some ways, you could say that Paycom, because Paycom's up there, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City.
Yeah. So you could say that like Paycom would be interesting because in some ways it's software and in some ways it's really a payroll service and other services. So I think anything like that's good. Anything really professional, anything B2B like
Okay.
that. So you're selling, Paycor, you'd be selling to other businesses, right?
Right.
So B2C, like your solo right now, is fine for experience, right? And it's commendable for sure. But B2B is going to pay more, and
Okay.
it's going to be kind of viewed in a little bit more of a, it's going to be a little bit more of a respected role, just down the road. So let's
Okay.
maybe kind of go for that. For example, I mean, you could go sell at, I mean, it's the difference between selling. Actually, door to door is not a bad example of that, right? So, not that respect is everything, but it's also respect and income sort of like a little bit go hand in hand.
Definitely.
So B2B is kind of my recommendation overall there. Um, Honestly, your experience, what you're doing, I wouldn't change a single thing about that. I think it's going to help you pay some bills and give you the exact kind of drive that you need. I'm trying to think. I mean, as far as like, I don't see you being off track on anything right now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't see like, and also, so because I thought you were on an active job search right now, like a little bit
Okay.
more active right now. It's kind of why I reached out. So I was expecting to have to give you tactics and strategies. And by the way, keep in touch on that
Okay.
because tactics and strategies during the job search is kind of how I help people mostly.
Okay.
So, for example, I have some techniques that can help you get like executives to get back to you
Okay.
pretty reliably. It takes some work, takes 3 or 4 hours of work usually to do what I would tell you to do.
Okay.
But it's pretty reliable. And by the way, and those feel free to reach out too about those types of techniques because frankly, getting a hold of executives overall is kind of a really hard thing to do.
Definitely.
And getting executives to respond, yeah. And so I'm happy to have a call even about that, just
Okay.
in your sales role. That's fine too. Um, so yeah, I'm just trying to think, again, you're not on active, really not on an active search right now. So I'm trying to think of how else I can help you right now. The LinkedIn we went through. Resume is fine. I mean, I would say that the same general guidance, which is try to add a little bit more detail to that.
Yep.
Add numbers, add detail to that because it does look nice. And actually, you do have more detail in here than on your LinkedIn, to be honest.
Definitely.
Like this is nice because you got a number. See how my eye caught that right away.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have a lot of critiques for the resume. Yeah, I like it a lot actually. A little bit more numbers and percentages and stuff like that would be good. But yeah, it's good. And we can kind of clearly see where you're at too. So yeah, I think that's good. So what else? What else can we talk about?
What's the earliest that I can kind of start, applying to those real jobs post college?
So you could start applying pretty early, like a couple months, 2, 3 months before you graduate, as long as you kind of, set expectations properly.
Yeah.
But I think what we should really do though is that's when you and I should talk.
Okay.
That because we can really start to really line up targets and line up line up your approach. Um, and you should probably, to be honest with you, at least take my free course by then. If you don't take it
Yeah.
soon, which is jobseeker.pro/fast, if you don't do that now, at least by then do that because there are some pretty savage approaches in there. People
Yeah.
get jobs off my free stuff all the time.
Okay.
And then I do have a paid program as well. I do have a discount, blah, blah, blah. So, but I'm not selling you. But yeah, I think having a few strategies to help you stand out would be really helpful for sure. But yeah, I think for me, if I was and I've been a hiring manager many times. In fact, I've been in sales leadership 18 of my sales career years.
Yeah.
And if I would wait for you for a month for sure.
Okay.
I would. Yeah, I could totally wait a month. A little longer maybe, but I would wait a month just to
Okay.
give you kind of like my perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with sales, like if I start applying next Christmas break, would it take like 2 or 3 months for me to, officially get hired or get the job?
That's a really good question. Just it kind of depends on the economy. There's been a lot of layoffs lately,
Right.
so it's hard to know kind of that far away, just to be honest. But I would say, yeah, it's okay to start trying for sure.
Yeah.
It's just
Okay.
the great thing about a job search, actually, it's kind of good and bad. The, a job search is literally selling. That's why I'm good at it. So I teach this now is because I have so
Right.
much sales experience. It directly applies. You're
Definitely.
literally selling yourself. Yeah. Um, so what I would like you to think about is maybe just not limiting yourself. So if you want to try, I mean, maybe not December, it's a bad time to find a job ever.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, January of next year type thing, after the break, after you get settled back into school, if you start trying, because here's what's really interesting. I found so I had a 2020 pandemic job search. It was horrible. I mean, obviously everybody was getting laid off.
Yep.
And so one of the things I found is that with repeating interviews, I got sharper and better. It was funny because the very last interview that I had, the VP of sales said, "We're worried about you that you're too polished." And I was
Dang.
like, that's such a weird like it's kind of a I don't even know how to take that. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of a compliment in a way.
Definitely.
And but the thing about it is I had in the pandemic, I had a crap ton of interviews, and of course I got good at it. So I think it's probably smart of you to start in January of next year because number one, you're going to get sharper and sharper and sharper and more polished, right? Number two, you're going to start to build a little bit of an awareness of what's out there and kind of a network.
Yeah.
So I think yeah, I would totally want you to do that for sure.
Okay.
Now my daughter started, she did that a little bit, I would say, probably in April of last year, right before she graduated. But not as far ahead as you got here, like as you're thinking. And I think that's awesome. I think you're going to make a lot of money. I think you're going to do really well
Thank you. Yeah.
because
My biggest fear
the fact that
is,
you're taking this call right here is kind of like a sign. Like, okay,
right.
this guy's taking a job seeker pro call like a year before he needs it. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty great.
Yeah, definitely. My biggest fear is, just graduating and not having a job and going and living in my mom's basement because I can't find a job.
Yep. No, everybody thinks that.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I get it. But trust me, and you won't get paid as much in your first sales job for sure, but we
Right.
pay our dues. You get paid enough. I mean, you'll pay the bills because sales is, even at that level, still one of the higher paying jobs. So you're going to be fine. But yeah, your hustle and your preparedness is evident here. So you're going to do great. I mean, it's no
Thank
problem,
you.
and I'll support you. So just yeah, just stay in touch for sure.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, what else, man?
That's all I can think of.
Well, kudos to being so prepared,
Yeah, thank you.
and I forgive you for knocking us out a couple years ago in
Yeah,
football.
yeah, yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
kidding. All right, man. Well, listen, stay in touch and good luck. And yeah, really, really proud of how proactive you are. And I mean, you're doing all the right things. So just be safe and just start to build your network out. And I think it'll go really well.
Sounds good. Thank you very much for the